Go live. It's not letting me do Jordan. There's no preview up. It's not doing anything.
Are you live on this one?
You saying?
There
Okay,
it
there it
is.
is. All right. What's going on, everybody?
Hello,
We're
everyone.
trying to get this thing right. Okay, where'd it go? How to connect? Is a bunch of restreams open? All right, what's happening, everybody? What's going on? We're trying to get this thing right. What's going on, everybody? We are the Spencers After Dark. We made it. We're here. Hello to everybody, our family, our Naked Unashamed family, Better Together family, New Direction family. What's up? Listen, we just want to stop by tonight to talk about how to divorce-proof your marriage. What's going on? Good to see you guys on tonight. Listen, do us a favor and share this stream with other married couples. If you're seriously dating, you're in the right spot. We're going to talk tonight about how to divorce-proof your marriage. We did last week we did a podcast on what, babe?
On why do people cheat?
Why do people
Yes.
cheat? Oh my gosh, that was a great discussion. We talked about who we have on here tonight. Is that Tasha? And Rod? What's up, Rod? Tiffany's on. Good to see you guys. Come on in tonight. We talked about why people cheat. And one of the things we said was what?
That one of the reasons was that individuals or people in marriages are not happy. But we have to realize that happiness is circumstantial, so we may be happy one minute, may not be happy the next. And what we say in church, you're not supposed to be happy. You're supposed to have joy. So you need to find some piece of joy in your marriage.
Happiness is conditional, right?
Yeah.
And happiness starts within you.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, before we jump into this discussion, we want to do some few introductions. I am Stacy Spencer.
And I'm Rhonda Spencer.
Yeah, this is my wife, and we've been married for 31 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
It'll be 31 years next month.
Next month on 9/11. Yay! We've been together since 1988. We have 3 boys together, and we met in college, and we've been together ever since. And
we have been together ever since.
And I'm glad we are.
Yes.
She still likes me, and I
do
still like her.
I do.
So we're going to be talking tonight, y'all, about. We're going to do a recap of why people cheat. And we want you guys to talk with us. And matter of fact, let's just open it up like that. Why do y'all think people cheat? I mean, we want to stay together, right? When you get married, the whole thing about getting married is to death do us part. Right. And yet there's a challenge for some people to remain faithful. Why is that? Why do y'all think people cheat? Talk about that tonight. Put it in the comments. And we want to see what you guys think. We said some people cheat because they're not happy. Some people cheat because there's no excitement in the marriage. Some people cheat because
they may have some unmet sexual need. So that's why communication is a very big piece.
You ought to be able to ask for what you want.
Absolutely.
If you're going to stay together for a very long time and be monogamous, it's important to ask for the intimacy you want. Then another reason people cheat is because they struggle with commitment. Some people self-sabotage their relationships because they've never seen what healthy commitment looks like. And then there's another one. Sometimes people just make mistakes.
They do, yeah.
The human factor comes into play, and we don't have strong boundaries, and people make mistakes. And so those are all the reasons we went over on our podcast as to why people cheat. And then we followed that up tonight with how to divorce-proof your marriage. So if you've made a mistake, if you've cheated, I believe, babe, that people can get back together and make that marriage work.
Oh, absolutely.
The only thing in the Bible that says people should get divorced for is for adultery. But there's also, even with that, room for people to reconcile, but it takes 2 to make a thing go right. Both of y'all got to be willing to make that thing work. So let's just jump into it tonight. What questions do y'all have about fidelity, about being faithful in a relationship, about being happy in marriage? how to divorce proof your marriage. Do you have any questions or thoughts about that on tonight? Jump in here and give us a question. Cheating is not a mistake. It's not a mistake. You're right. It's a conscious decision that people make, and but the mistake is giving into your
Right.
emotions and not thinking about the other person. It is a bad decision,
Mm-hmm.
and making a bad decision is a mistake because you have to think about the consequences and the repercussions of what happens when you violate that covenant, you violate that relationship, you violate those boundaries. So you're right. It's not a mistake. It's a conscious decision. But sometimes our humanity gets in the way of making the best decision. So thank you for that. Um, Anybody else? Any questions tonight about your how do people get into a situation to where they are unfaithful? What do you think?
I think sometimes people may get, because they may be entertaining like third party conversations or third party, just third parties, period. And so that's why you should never like we would say that we wouldn't have any same sex friends, opposite sex friends without our knowledge of it, or that we're couple friends with couples. So that's where like the extra talking could come into. With women, it could be more emotional, more in our head than the physical.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When my wife says, uh, Bolt says, hanging around with single people can get you in trouble. I tend to agree with that because you have to hang around with people who are like minded, who have the same goals of trying to stay
Right.
married. And that's not on the single person. They don't have to worry about that because they're not in a committed relationship. And so it's important that we hang around people who are trying to stay married.
Absolutely.
And my wife mentioned third parties. So when we go back to the original marriage with Adam and Eve, what got them in trouble is what?
Was that they entertained the serpent.
The serpent, the snake in the grass.
Right.
Can somebody type in the comments, watch out for snakes in the grass? Watch out for snakes in the grass. You cannot allow people to come in to your marriage to introduce thoughts that you were not having. Everything, ironically, that Adam and Eve needed was in that garden.
Correct.
But then the snake came in and says, did God really say?
Mm-hmm.
He introduced doubt into that relationship. And so we have to always make sure that your circle is tight, your boundaries are tight, so that you don't entertain voices that can destroy your relationship, right? That's how you divorce proof that marriage. What else? That snake. What else pops up? How do you divorce proof your marriage? I want to hear from y'all. Who is on here tonight? I see Tasha, I see Janice. Janice, how do you divorce proof your marriage? What would you say? What would you say? Throw it out there. Put it in the comments. How do you divorce proof your marriage? Invite some other couples. Text somebody real quick. I think a lot of people think that we are on pre-record tonight and not live. This is live, not Memorex.
Yes.
You muted both. Okay. Anybody else? Jacinta Birch is joined. What's up? We're talking tonight about how you divorce proof your marriage. Another way is to protect yourself from your own vulnerabilities. You got to know yourself. In a relationship, it's so important to know your own self, your own proclivities, your own inclinations. In Proverbs chapter 5, Solomon tells his son, he says, beware of the woman whose lips drip with honey. A lot of times we tell couples to do what? We tell women to do what to their men before they leave the house?
Oh, one thing all the time is to make sure that you're taking care of your man before he leaves the home. And there was a couple friend that the phrase was to always leave the husband to leave the house with an empty sack and a full stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that there's nothing left for him to give. And plus, you give them that extra love before they walk out the door. And so they're thinking about you all day long. So if Sally Sue comes to them around the water cooler, then they've already been taken care
I
of.
like what Janice said. She says, keep your business to yourself. That's so
Yes,
good, y'all.
absolutely.
Watch this, especially when y'all are having disagreements
Mhm.
in your relationship, in your marriage. You can't tell everybody your business,
No.
especially your relatives. Because what happens if we're in a disagreement, my wife and I are in an argument, or I do something to hurt her, and she goes and she tells her family, Stacy did such and such and such and such, and then we make up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're back together and we're good, and then I go to her family for Thanksgiving, and they're all looking at me like, there he is. You know, they give me the side eye, suck of the teeth, because we've made up and they're still in that same emotional spot because they're upset. So you cannot air your dirty laundry with people outside your marriage. You got to be careful talking to coworkers
Mm-hmm.
because people can take advantage of the vulnerability within your relationship and feel like they got an entry point.
This is so true. But like if you have like a close friend, yes, like my close friend, we may vent and then we're like, okay, well, how are we going to fix this? So you want to also be able to encourage your friend to go back and do the right thing. You don't want to be that type of friend that is co-signing on some foolishness.
Yes, yes. And you got to make sure that you're handling your business as married couples.
Mhm.
You got to make sure you're taking care of each other's sexual needs, your intimacy needs. You got to make sure you're handling your business. 1 Corinthians 7 says, do not deny one another your intimacy. The husband should satisfy his wife, and the wife should satisfy her husband, so that when y'all are out, you ain't got to worry about nobody creeping. Like Method Man said in that song with Mary J. Blige, no need to front. I got the good stuff at home. So you got the good power. You don't have to go outside and look at the grass on the other side of the fence when you're watering your own grass. So it's so important that you find fulfillment and intimacy within the confines of your own marriage.
Absolutely. And another thing is keep communication hot. Now, the HOT is an acronym for honest, open, and transparency. So make sure that you're always talking to your spouse. If there's an issue, be able to go lovingly to your spouse and address whatever those needs are. You don't want to keep it all bottled up inside.
Let me ask the people that are listening tonight, why is it so hard for who's it harder for in a marriage to ask for what they want intimately, men or women? Who is it harder for to ask for the intimacy you want in a relationship, men or women? I need y'all to everybody answer this. Put this in the chat. Who's it harder for to ask for the intimacy you want, men or women, and why? Women. Wow. Men. Tiffany says men. Is it harder for men or women to ask for what they want, intimacy wise, in a marriage? What do you say, Janice? What do y'all say? So I saw a lot of women saying women. Women, why do y'all think it's hard for y'all to ask for the intimacy you want in the marriage? Why is that hard? Why is it hard to be hot, to be honest, to be open, to be transparent? Your communication needs to be hot. Why can't y'all? Why is it hard for women to ask for what they want? I think one of the reasons, sweetheart, is because y'all are raised to be good girls. Good girls don't do this. Y'all are raised to be the Virgin Mary and not Mary Magdalene.
Mm.
And you don't want to be thought of. I don't put words in your mouth. What do you think?
Well, I think one is if we're asking for something sexually, our husband, and if it hasn't been anything that we talked about initially, sometimes some men may say, "Where you learning that
Where
from?"
you get that from?
Right.
Where you learn that from?
Who you talking to? And so then there's that skepticism that it's not coming from a pure and transparent place of knowing each other.
One of our viewers said, because they are shy, I grew up in Europe, I'm open. Europeans may be a little bit more free than we Westerners are. It may be a cultural thing.
Mm.
It may be how you were socialized. I remember growing up, and mom would tell my sister, "All right, sit with your legs closed, pull your dress down." We were very prim and proper. especially in the South,
Mhm.
that whole Southern Belle complex. But I think women ought to be able to be free enough to ask for what they want.
I agree. I agree. But that takes time. I mean, that takes time. It takes maturity. You know, you just can't go in if you haven't developed the language yet between in the marriage to ask for what you want. It may pose to be a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you listen to what his wife said? He cut her off. I'm sorry. How did I cut my wife off? Did I cut you off?
No, you didn't cut me off.
She said I didn't cut her off. How did I cut her off? Okay. So yeah, it's important that when women ask for what they want, that the men listen. So I apologize if I cut you off, sweetheart. Do you have a problem asking for what you want?
Oh no. Now, initially, now we will be married for 31 years. So initially, when we probably were because we were married young, we were 23 and 24, and I didn't have the language, nor did I know exactly what I wanted when we first got married. So that came with maturity. So over time and us learning how to communicate better with one another, it became easier to do so.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
Absolutely.
We've come a long way, and my wife has grown comfortable being able to ask, and that came with trust too.
Yes.
Building trust. When a woman can trust a man, they're like lotus blossom flowers. They begin to open up, and the more trust you have in your relationship, the more you can feel free to be vulnerable in that relationship to ask. And men, we can't be in our ego. We can't be in our ego with, if you're not doing something right, she should be able to tell you, baby, that's not doing it. That's not it. That's not my spot. Can you go slower? Can you do it? So it's important that we get ego out of the way. And one of the things that I say to you when you teach me something, you correct me something, I say to you what?
You was like, thank you.
Thank you. And I've learned to say that. I've learned to get my ego out of the way and say thank you. But the way to divorce proof your marriage is open and honest communication, making sure you're fulfilling one another's needs. So yeah, what questions do y'all have tonight? We don't want to be talking heads. We want to let this be. We want to engage with you. Let's give another 5 minutes or so. What questions do y'all have around divorce proofing your marriage? And then we also talked the week before about why people cheat in a relationship. So it's kind of hand in hand.
Mhm.
How do we make sure that we're in the kind of relationships that make both of us happy? Ask us some questions. And if you guys are too shy to ask questions, we won't stay on here long. Any other questions about how we remain married and how we remain faithful? I think sometimes people get bored in their relationship too. How do you avoid boredom in a relationship?
Well, as we grow older together, we have to continue to do things together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have your interests, I have my interests, but then we have those interests that we have together. So making sure that we're doing more things together, but also spending that alone time so that it pours back into ourselves so that we can want to be with each other.
Try new things.
Yeah.
Nobody wants chicken for dinner every night. Except for you.
I like chicken.
You got to have some variety, right? How do you avoid being bored? You got to add some variety. You got to do some new things. Ron and I love traveling together. And I'm kind of when I find a place I like to go, what happens?
You want to go there every time. Every time.
And so what's your preference?
Is to try new things.
She wants to try new things. So what we did, we came up with a bucket list of the things we want to do.
Yes.
And we've been knocking those buckets out. And my wife even went camping with me the other day, y'all. She's from the city, I'm from the country. And we went to a cabin. How'd you like it?
Well, it was more of a tree house, but it was fun. I had these expectations, and my expectations were exceeded because it was modern.
It wasn't really camping, it was glamping. It was a tree house with windows and a jacuzzi and a sauna. It was really nice. It was romantic. We had trees all around us so nobody could see us. We were outside, all natural. My wife said, I hope they don't have cameras because they're going to get an eyeful. We had a wonderful time. We went to a winery. It was amazing. And so, yeah. So listen, if y'all don't ask a question in 10 seconds, I'm getting ready to log off because y'all just sitting here looking at us. Any questions around how do you remain faithful? How do you divorce proof your marriage? Any other questions, Tiffany? I don't see anybody engaging or interacting. But y'all sure gonna tell me when I interrupt my wife. Ask me a question. Any questions before we leave? We want to remind you guys that we have a podcast on YouTube. It's called Naked and Unashamed SLS. And it comes on every Monday night at 7 p.m. And we also have a ministry called Eden Circle, where we do coaching, we do master classes, we do meetups, and tell them about Sweet Talk that's coming up on the 18th.
Oh, we have Sweet Talk where we'll have conversations and sweets. So it's a fun time with other couples or seriously dating couples that come together just to have a fun time on Sunday nights. It's almost like having an extra date night. If you had a date night on Friday, then you can have another one on Sunday.
Yeah, but it's not every Sunday night.
No, not every Sunday night.
Not every Sunday. But on the 18th of this month, at 6:30 p.m., we will have live entertainment with Tevin Lavelle. He is the lead singer of the Gap Band. Y'all ever heard of Gap Band? He's going to be in Memphis at Soul Cafe. We're going to have sweets, as my wife said. We're going to have refreshments. We're going to have games. And we're going to be talking about this topic. How do you balance work, life, and intimacy? Sometimes we're so tired from working that we don't have time for intimacy. But you have to make time. You have to prioritize your marriage. You got to prioritize intimacy. And we're going to be talking about how do you do that. And so if you want to get your tickets, we're going to get the tickets.
You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. So there it is. Eventbrite it's going to be Sweet Talk on Eventbrite.
Yeah, on the 18th, 6:30 p.m. Well, listen, we have a question. What is it, Tiffany? What's the question? I missed it. I'm sorry. Give me the question, Tiffany. What was the question? How do you keep Christ in the marriage?
Oh, okay.
That's a very good question. We pray together. We recognize that without the love of Christ, your marriage won't make it. I'm able to love my wife effectively because of the love that Jesus has for me. And so one of the things we do is pray together. Baby, what happens when couples pray together?
One of the things that happens when couples pray together, you will notice that your intimacy is more transparent. It's more hot. It's more, you can have more communication. You kind of like each other more because we always say it's hard for Jesus to argue with Jesus. So when Christ is in me and Christ is with you, we're not tearing each other apart. We're not being petty. We're not nitpicking. So it's easier to see your spouse as a human and even put yourself in that person's shoes so that you kind of empathize with them a little more.
Yes. A couple that prays together, worships together, serves together, stays together. I just want to say that I love watching your lives. Very helpful advice. Thank you so much, Jaleisha. That means a lot. Love seeing a Black successful couple who we have to look up to. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's so sweet.
Thank you, guys.
We were wondering if anybody was watching our stuff because don't nobody say nothing. So thank you, Jaleisha. That means a lot. Thank y'all so much. We just want people to make it. You know, we've had our struggles. We have our ups and downs. I came from a broken family. I grew up, did not see a committed relationship. My mom and dad divorced when I was 7. Rhonda came from a family where her mom and dad were married. And so we had to figure it out in our young marriage. But once we finally hit our groove, one of the things we said is we want to help other married couples make it. You know what I mean? We want to help them discover sexual fulfillment and commitment and love and faithfulness. And so we've had to work on that, and we love sharing our joys, our sorrows, our successes because we want y'all to make it.
And we believe that marriage, just like when your vows, is until death do you part.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we help share things that we know that have helped, things that we've learned through our studies that help, so that it's not boring, that you're not being roommates, that you're actually best friends, and that you enjoy spending time with your husband.
Yeah, I enjoy spending time with you.
I enjoy spending time with
you.
You
My dog. You know what I'm talking about. Boom. Listen, we appreciate y'all being on tonight. How do you keep the marriage spicy? Oh, somebody, did you ask
Okay.
that, Tiffany, or there's somebody asking that? How do you keep the marriage spicy? Man, listen, trying new things, being open, not being afraid to ask for what you want, um, going new places. I think it's always romantic when Rhonda and I go out of town and go to different spots. For some reason, sex on the beach, intimacy on the beach is much better than it is at home. I don't know, because we don't have the chores and
Yeah, it's definitely better for me because then I don't have the responsibility of taking care of everything else, whether that's cooking, cleaning, you know, everything else. So that frees up my list.
and keep the lights on. You ain't got to cut the lights and
Definitely.
keep the lights on. Don't put your scarf on until after you get
That part. Put your scarf on because you want our hair to stay nice, but give them a little intimacy first and then go put your scarf and your bonnet on.
and try new places. You don't have to stay in the bedroom. If you got a house, use all the bedrooms in the house. There's a number of ways that you can keep it spicy, but the main thing is to try new things, right?
And the way to try those new things is you have to communicate that with your spouse and be open to it.
What is the favorite things about being married? What's your favorite things about being married?
Oh my God, so many. I love your smell. I like you being at home. I like our friendship. I like our inside jokes. I love that we have children together. We see our little mini me's. Well, they're grown men, so they're not mini. So they look like you, but I gave birth to them. But there's so many things, being able to worship together, being able to talk to my best friend every day. It's just so much.
I missed her. She was gone this past week with her sisters on a sisters trip to Alabama, and it was so funny because I left her pillows on the bed just so it would feel like she was next to me. And I woke up. I don't sleep solid when she's gone, so I woke up in the morning and I was looking at my phone. And I was bending over my bed so the light wouldn't disturb her, and I realized she's not here. I had to start laughing, but I love the fact that I get to come home to her. I look forward to coming home to my wife every day. That's my treat. You know, it's like, wow, I've had a rough day, but I get to go home to my wife.
Right.
We laugh together. We watch our favorite shows. She gets mad when I watch The Chi without her.
Absolutely.
We've got our shows we watch together. We love going to exercise together. We love go on Friday. We have date nights on Friday. We go get our massages together. It's just so much that we love the togetherness. I believe God was right when he said it's not good for a man to be alone. I feel complete with her. And so that's it. That's it. What was your favorite things about? I think we said that. Okay. Any other questions? Any burning questions before we let you guys go? We appreciate y'all coming on with us. And do me a favor. Next Monday night, let's spread the word that we're going to be on here live together, so we can get more people on with us tonight on Monday nights at 8 p.m. And don't forget, at 7 o'clock, we will be doing our podcast, right? So at 7, the podcast comes on YouTube, on Naked and Unashamed SLS YouTube channel. And then we'll follow it up with a live Q&A at 8 o'clock on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So this is our first time trying to do this. I hope it was helpful. If you enjoyed yourself, can you put some fire in the chat? Can you tap that screen, TikTok, if you're still listening? If you enjoyed spending a little time with us tonight, can you tap that screen 3 times? Can you put some fire in the chat on YouTube if you enjoyed being on with us tonight? We enjoyed being on with you. And we look forward to spending some more time going forward. We're going to build a tribe of people who want to stay married, a tribe of people who want to add some fire to their relationship. That's what we're about. We're naked and unashamed. Why naked and unashamed? Genesis 2:25 says that when God created Adam and Eve, he created them male and female, and they were naked and without shame. We want to get y'all back to a place where you are without shame in your marriage, right?
Oh, correct.
We want you to be intimate. We want you to have the best intimacy ever, and to stay married, to stay in love. So that's what we're doing. So thank you guys for being on tonight. Please spread the word, share this stream with your friends and your family, and please go subscribe. Go subscribe, like, and subscribe to Naked and Unashamed SLS on YouTube. And we'll holler at y'all later. Thank you for being on.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next time. Be blessed.